Welcome to another episode of Uniforms of the Screen. If you haven't already guessed, today we'll be looking at some of the uniforms and gear from the sci-fi film Starship Troopers. Unlike the previous video, we're not going to state the prices as they often change for better or worse. However, links to all items will still be available in the description below. Remember to keep in mind, as with many productions, a lot of these items were custom made, which can sometimes mean info and replicas are hard to come by. If you've seen any of the movies or read the book, you'll know that the Federal Service consists of three branches: the Mobile Infantry, Fleet, and Military Intelligence. Buckle up for this one, as it's going to be something of a long video. To make it easier, you can find the timestamps for specific uniforms in the description below. We'll be starting off on the bounce with the Mobile Infantry. Based off of Robert A. Heinlein's 1959 novel of the same name, this franchise kicked off with the 1997 movie Starship Troopers, directed by Paul Verhoeven. This spawned two live-action sequels, Starship Troopers 2, Heroes of the Federation in 2004, and Starship Troopers 3, Marauder in 2008. Any fan of the series will know that in all three of these movies, forces of the Mobile Infantry wear a normal cloth uniform and very basic armor, as opposed to the high-powered exosuits that are used in the book, as well as the two computer-animated movies Starship Troopers Invasion and Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars. The practical reason for this was that the budget wasn't big enough in the original movie. The other, more abstract reason was that Verhoeven and writer Edward Neumeier had reworked the story to portray Earth society as a fascist one, and used the movie to shed light on it, all while making fun of it at the same time. So without going on too much of a tangent, the fascist themes are most noticeable during the numerous propaganda segments that pop up throughout the movie, as well as many of the uniforms and gear as far as shape and color, which are very reminiscent of the uniforms used by Nazi Germany. Now that that's all covered, let's actually jump into the uniforms. Starting off, we have the Camp Arthur Curry training uniforms. These ones are pretty easy, as they consist of a basic black beret with a Mobile Infantry Wings patch on it, a black sweater with a Mobile Infantry Wings logo on the front, black sweatpants with an elastic drawstring, and short Adidas boots. To get these, and actually many other items from the movie, you can head over to the website called realclothes.com. There, they have quite a few pieces for the various uniforms seen in these movies. Alternatively, you can put this one together yourself by getting a basic black beret and patch, then sewing it on. The same can be done with a sweatshirt and having the MI logo printed on it. As for the drill instructors, they wore the standard combat uniform, along with a black Eagle Industries duty belt. Worn on that was a baton holster, which appears to be the Eagle Industries 6-inch ASP baton holder. The batons themselves were either solid wooden rods for background shots, or actual expandable batons. Both were silver. Now onto dress uniforms. From head to toe, it starts with the same black beret worn during basic. Next is a gray button-up dress shirt, which consisted of an all-black collar, black shoulder tabs for rank, 8 black snap buttons along the front closure, as well as 2 on either chest pocket. The women's version had the chest pockets removed and saw 6 buttons instead of 8. Then, attached on the left shoulder was the winged sword patch, and on the right was the Diamond 6 patch, which presumably was to designate Rico's unit. These patches are readily available by a few sellers on Etsy, as well as eBay and even Amazon, though the qualities of them vary. Then, worn right above the left chest pocket was a Mobile Infantry wing pin. If one of the main characters such as Rico or Dizzy were seen wearing one, it was likely a hero, and made of a cast metal such as aluminum or steel, while background actors wearing them likely had a stunt, which was a cast resin or plastic. Finally, to finish off the uniform was a simple black tie. Some of these shirts are still available on Real Clothes, but you'll likely have to source and modify these on your own. Next up is the combat uniform. Starting off with the head is the M3 tactical helmet. This rounded helmet featured a built-in communicator mic piece and a simple chin strap. For the movie, around 1,000 helmets were made, so originals are floating around, and with a little bit of searching you can find a seller with a screen-used one. However, an easier method is to either 3D print one or to go buy a cast from goldenarmor.com. The kits there are good, though to be properly screen accurate you'll have to do a little bit of extra work, such as attaching proper screen and gauge tubing, as well as upgrading the chin strap. Another option of headwear is the cap. Similar in design to the German M43 hats, these are seen being worn periodically throughout the movie. Your best bet for one of these is once again Real Clothes. Now, down to the torso. There are 3 main parts here: the shirt, the jacket, and the armor. The shirt is a basic black t-shirt with no significant markings or stitch style. Throughout the movie, the mobile infantry switches back and forth between wearing just the t-shirt under the armor and wearing the jacket under it, depending on temperatures. Additionally, all troopers wore dog tags. The screen-used ones were very similar to the modern-day US tags in that they had two black beaded chains, one short and one long, black rubber silencers, and two tags in the same shape, though they were holographic and had a barcode rather than stamped letters. Originals are very hard to come by. Your best bet is to find some blank tags and mock up a barcode and print it on a holographic sticker or label, then cut it and affix it to the tags. Regarding the jacket, these were made specifically for the movie and are a bit hard to obtain. However, you can still get a few sizes from real clothes. All of the jackets include the same patches as the dress uniform in the same locations. Epaulettes with rank were often seen on the shoulder tabs of both the dress shirts and combat jackets. Here is a breakdown of what they looked like. When it's worn, a neck protector is worn too, which is put on first with the jacket going over it. These can be found on real clothes or by some sellers on Etsy. There are two versions of these, Grade A, which includes a cotton liner on the inside, used for close-ups, and Grade B, which do not. Finally, there's the armor. Again, there are two versions which exist, a hero and a stunt. The difference is nominal. The hero has its vent holes cut and are see-through, while the stunts do not. This is perhaps the hardest item to source, as many pieces of armor, as well as various other pieces of the combat uniform, were repurposed for episodes of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy and Firefly. Any other remaining pieces are now in private collections as well. They are currently sold out on Real Clothes, but do come up for auction every now and again on Prop Store's website. Another option is to get your hands on a fan-made replica. There are a few makers who are a part of some Facebook groups, two being the Starship Troopers Costuming Group and Citizens of the Federation. Links to both groups are below. Now, there are a few pouches and additional items on the armor, most of which are still obtainable through, you guessed it, Real Clothes. They are Merida magazine pouches and the magazines. You'll need two of each. These pouches, as well as all the others seen, are from Eagle Industries. These two happen to be black M4 pouches. As for the magazines, you can go live firing or stunt. The live firing were fully functioning magazines for the blank firing Meridas. We'll cover the guns at the end. And stunt, which were just lightweight foam. Next up are the grenade pouches and the MX-90 fragmentation grenades. The pouches are actually a single dual grenade pouch, so you'll need just one. The MX-90s, on the other hand, were custom made and a bit scarce, but you can find unfinished replica kits from Golden Armor. Wearing all this heavy and insulating gear requires a bit of hydration, and that leads us to the water bottle and its pouch. Though the bottles are never seen close up in the movie, pictures of screen-used costumes show that there are some variations of the bottles, but they are all Nalgene thin-necked bottles. All show stamps for the access front. They do show up on collectors and auction sites, however Nalgene still makes the same model water bottle, which is available just about anywhere online. Just make sure to get the opaque version. The pouch, however, is a bit of a different story. These don't seem to have a name brand on them, so they're a bit hard to identify. Apart from getting one at an auction, you can get a very close to accurate pouch off Amazon. Up at the top of the armor, some troopers had a small rations pouch. This was a simple black first aid pouch. Inside, the production stored either stuffed scrap papers or an actual lemon cake. Attached to the waist strap, and then around the right leg, was the throwing knife and flare holster. These were the Eagle Industries mag pouch and knife sheath SAS MP5 KS. The knives themselves weren't actually knives, but rather just unfinished silver-colored ones, as to not endanger actors. Jake Busey is the exception. The pouch is still available on Real Clothes. Periodically, Triple Eagle Industries MP5 mag pouches pop up on eBay. Just add that to a throwing knife sheath and do a bit of sewing. Also, the flares weren't actually flares, but rather one red and one green glow stick. The packaging has changed, but one can still obtain these really cheap off eBay. Finally, radio operators wore one additional pouch, which appears to be a black Alice M16 magazine pouch that had one of the grenade hangers cut off. The gloves used in the movie were modified Newman brand 75mm football gloves. The only modification was the removal of the end patch. These have become somewhat hard to find, however old pairs do occasionally pop up. As an alternative, you can find newer Newmans, though they are not 100% accurate. Onto the pants. Much like the jacket, these were custom made for the movie and include a pair of black suspenders to hold them up. Both of these are available in a few sizes on Real Clothes. Finally, we have the boots. These were off-the-shelf 1995 model Adidas Winter Trekker hiking shoes that were modified for the production. The base boots were the same ones used with the training uniform, while these combat versions included gray suede and silver fabric with 3 cross straps attached above them. Depending on your shoe size, these may be very easy to acquire or extremely hard. Smaller sizes are still for sale, however anything above a US men's 10 or so has become harder to source. That covers the standard uniforms of the mobile infantry. However, there is the matter of the 2 backpacks as well as the medical units. Some troopers were issued an ammo backpack, which was made of rubber and consisted of shoulder straps and a waist strap. Other troops, including Dizzy, wore the radio operator's pack. Both Hero and Stunt versions were made, the difference being the Hero was made of fiberglass and included 9-volt powered LED lights. The Stunt was made of rubber and was slightly less detailed. Finally, the medics. As far as the actual jacket and hat go, the only difference is that the shoulder patches were replaced with medic ones. Instead of armor, they wore a light, almost neoprene-looking vest and had the Eagle Industries load-bearing pack in black. As for their helmets, a medical decal was added to the front. Now, last but not least, before we end this video, we of course need to go over the weapons used by the mobile infantry. First up is the tactical oxygen nuke and the M55 rocket launcher which fires it. Seen only for a few moments in the movie, 3D files for both of these can be found online with relative ease. Now, what you've been waiting for, the standard issue weapon for most members of the mobile infantry, the Merida rifle. In the movie, 4 versions of the Merida are seen: the standard rifle, the carbine variant, a sniper variant, and the Merida 2. As with most pieces, there were both stunt and hero versions, meaning there were live firing ones as well as rubber ones that could be knocked around. The standard Merida had 2 modes, a full auto and a secondary shotgun. The live firing hero rifles were made from a Ruger AC556K, which fired 5.56, and an Ithaca M37 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. At the end of the barrel, a flash suppressor for an M60 was added. There are a few prop makers out there who make great replicas, both hollow to allow the Ruger and Ithaca, and solid pieces for more costuming and display purposes. Regarding the sniper, the only difference was the scope. The carbine variant was seen being used by officers as well as fleet. They are shortened down and don't include the secondary shotgun. Finally, kits for the Merida 2 are available online at Golden Armor's website. Apart from the 2 Facebook groups, you can also check out the RPF, both their Facebook group and website, as well as starshiptroopers.net. All are great sources for information and may be able to steer you in the right direction for certain parts and pieces. If anyone has any extra info to add to help fill in the blanks, be sure to mention it in the comments. So that was a bit long, but hopefully helpful and interesting. As always, remember to subscribe or check back in the future for more uniforms of the screen, right here on Uniform History.